Now, Bulletstorm VR literally is exactly as I remember it. And to be fair, the game, I think, came out in 2012, 2013. It had like that Gears of War style graphics from Epic. It looked awesome. The violence was so over the top. I mean, back then, games like that, I guess, had more shock factor than they do today, I feel, anyway. Like, do you remember the first time you chainsawed someone in Gears of War? It was like a wow moment. And the very first time I went into Bulletstorm, I was kind of like, wow, like, I'm actually in Bulletstorm. That's pretty cool. The weapons look good. The characters look good. And this is on all platforms. So I'm going to talk about all platforms, right? But for some reason, the gameplay is just, I don't know, it's just boring. I kind of feel that back then, this sort of game was really cool. But it doesn't really make a good VR game. There is weight to the weapons, but you don't need to two-hand them. You can just walk around shooting them all with one arm and the sniper rifle, actually. And overall, there's just a real, I don't know, old ugliness to it. And as ports go, I actually feel that Dr. Beef, and I don't mean this in disrespect to him, Team Beef, I think could have done a better port than what this is currently. So as I said, back to the gameplay, it's pretty much unchanged. You have 8 weapons, all with alternate firing modes. The idea is to, I think it's like over 100 different ways of killing someone, and that's how you get extra points, and then you spend the points on upgrading the weapons. And you also need to spend that money on ammo and special ammo. But I think where it just felt so numb to me to play is the AI is incredibly dumb. It's insanely easy for some reason. It just feels really easy to play. You just slide around everywhere, kicking people into things. And I think just the presentation really pulls me back. Now actually, PCVR is the best version. If you've got a PC and you're really interested in this game, go PC, 100%. Now, for those of you commenting that Bulletstorm VR was going to be a Quest game first, and then ported to PSVR 2 and PC, I can tell you right now that is absolutely not the case. It actually looks really good on PC. I'm quite happy with it. That doesn't change the fact the gameplay was boring as hell, but at least it looks really good, and I definitely came across far less issues technically playing it on PC. On PSVR 2, yeah, there's certain things, like there's certain issues, like for example, bullet tracer rounds go from yellow to randomly red. Some of the stereoscopic cutscenes are very bright for some reason. The game does crash now and again. And overall, it's pretty unimpressive to look at, especially the menus. Like when you see the menus, they just look really blurry. But I would put PSVR 2 as second place to whatever format. If you've got all three, PSVR 2. The only reason I actually think PSVR 2 is good is the haptics. You can actually turn the haptics right up. But even then, there's certain scenes where the headset haptics just don't work. It's just not there. But it feels good with the controllers. Now, the Quest version, by far, I think is awful. And I want to be nice about it. I just can't. Like, the asynchronous space warp in this. And before I go too far, when I reviewed Hubris, one of the things I didn't like about it was asynchronous space warp on the arms, right? It was like the game looked pretty good, but your arms had like a weird clear mesh around them all the time, as soon as you moved them, right? And it looked like a ghostly effect. And I kind of mentioned it. I was like, yeah, this doesn't look very good. Well, this has set a whole new bar for not very good with space warp. Your laser sights are like doubled. They're all over the place. Your legs kick all over the place when you're sliding. Now, there's another issue that you just don't see very often in VR games, and that is where effects like particle effects and smoke are only in one eye. So, for example, say there's a fire going in Quest. One side, the smoke will look fine, and in the right eye, it'll look like cubes. It just won't look right. And if you use a charge shot from your gun, one of them in particular has flames coming out the top of it, Yeah, it's only in one eye. It's a pretty poor thing to see. The textures, the textures are actually really funny. Like, there was one bit when I saw this guy, he's all bloody and stuck to a wall. It looked like PS1 Silent Hill. It looks so bad. It's kind of funny, actually. I talk about not cracking a smile while playing it. That was the time I did actually smile. And yeah, in general, it's just not a very good game. I just don't think what made it good back then matters now. You know, like, we are a little bit more desensitized. Even enemy damage, it doesn't matter what system you play it on. If someone's like chopped in half, they have like a red nest for insides, right? And it's got like an N64 shine to it. It's just not very good. Now, if you're a really big fan of Bulletstorm back in the day, and I did complete it back in the day, I never went back to it, but I remember it really enjoying it. But it was like a one-time stunt for me. You know, the gameplay wasn't exactly deep. Playing it this time has been, and honestly, a challenge. PC was the only version that I was like, oh, this looks quite nice. I don't know, cutscenes are weird. The way it just randomly stops and loads. There's glitches. Yeah, this game is just not very good in general. It's definitely below the quality bar I would expect in this day and age. And I think because the game looks old now. As I said, the weapons look good, but everything else just kind of looks very average. And when you combine that with old gameplay, yeah, I'm gutted, because I remember when I first saw the trailer, I was so excited for this. And I'll tell you what this was like. It's kind of like when you play a game now, which you absolutely loved back then and were blown away by. I remember Gran Turismo on PS1 looking, I thought it looked realistic, and now it looks like shoeboxes or with square wheels kind of thing. It doesn't look good. And I kind of feel that's happened with Bulletstorm a bit. It just doesn't feel right, and it doesn't play now. It doesn't feel like a now game. So yeah, as I said, PC, it looks good. PSVR 2, it looks average. You know, don't be expecting to be wowed by anything. And on Quest, I would say it's actually quite embarrassing. Like, it reminds me of Quest 1 games. That's what it reminds me of. So yeah, there it is. There is my first impressions of Bulletstorm. I'm really sorry to have this take. Obviously, everyone's different. I'm sure there's other channels telling you that they like it. But yeah, for me, this game probably just shouldn't have been made, to be honest. And if it did, it maybe should have just stuck to PCVR as a release. And I know they need to put these games on Quest because it's the most popular headset, and that's how they make money. I don't think these developers are thinking they're going to make a lot of money on PSVR 2 or PC, so they aim for Quest, but I mean, with these results, I don't think it was worth it personally. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Let me know your comments down below. I'm ready to take some flack, you know, because the game comes out in a couple of days. I might drop a review. I'm not too sure. I don't even know if I want to play it anymore. Playing it on 3 platforms was kind of enough for me. I know the ending. I know how it finishes. On Quest, I pushed through quite far. Yeah, overall, I'm just very unimpressed. But thank you ever so much for watching, guys. Take care. See you in the next one.